What's good, boys? My name is Chaz. For those of you guys who don't know me, I am a remote high ticket closer, pretty much a sales rep for online info products, if you want to call it. And I kind of just want to come on here, explain a little bit about my story and a little bit of like how I got here, what happened in the past, and like why I'm deciding not to go to college because of this business model. So, just to give you guys a bit of context on my situation, I graduated high school about 2 months ago, and I was one of those typical kids who didn't want to go to college. Like, obviously, everyone tells you go to college, take the normal route, go get a job, whatever it may be. But I was like, I didn't want to do it. I felt like it wasn't for me in a sense. Like, it wasn't what I wanted to do with my life. Not that there's anything wrong with it, but I didn't want to go clock in and work a normal job, get paid hour to hour, paycheck to paycheck. I just felt like I could do more than that. So, at the start of my junior year, about over a year ago, I wanted to get into online business, and of course, like a lot of people probably have, I started drop shipping. Like I tried to look up the classic on YouTube, how to make money online, and I found drop shipping. So I started that. That was like my online business journey. Bought a little Discord, monthly Discord premium. That gave me a couple quick tools. Wasn't too bad, but obviously you can only get so far with what a $70 Discord to teach you how to actually like be successful with some sort of business model. So did that for about 4 months from the start of last May to November of last year. So I want to say it was like 4 months, give or take, and I made maybe almost little to no money, like maybe $50 total. And I like put like a lot of money into my stores, my subscriptions, the Discord I was paying for the first 4 months. I was putting a lot of money into that, so I really made no profits. I lost out on like $400 in the span of 4 months because I was trying to make this work. Um, I kind of gave up on that, not only because I didn't feel like I couldn't do it, but obviously I wasn't seeing the results like I wanted to. But I know it takes time to get to that point. But the main reason I stopped it was because I felt like I didn't want to do something that had to do with only scrolling on TikTok, scrolling on Instagram, trying to find a product. Like I felt like that wasn't for me. That's not what I wanted to do in the long run. So then I moved into something else. I was like looking at like these coaching, this mentorship. And I remember this kid who told me this one time in the Discord server that I was in at the time in dropshipping. He told me to buy this influencer's course because he teaches one on one how to help you, how to be successful, and actually was getting people results. The thing is, at the time, I had no money to invest, which was like a 3K course. I didn't have the money at the time to invest into that. So I was like, I wanted to save a bit of money to invest into it, but at the same time, I didn't want to drop ship. So I was like, how do I get on the backside of things to actually sell for these guys because they're selling for a good amount of money. Like $3,000 is a pretty good chunk of money to sell for someone. And I was assuming like obviously salespeople would get a cut of it. So I looked up like what it was into, and then I came across high ticket sales in last November. Looked into it for about a week or two. Really liked it. Really thought I could talk to people on sales calls, be social. I felt like I was an extroverted person, so that's kind of why I hopped into that. After that, I was working a job from the whole time from May to November. I was working a pizza job, kind of just pulling in money, saving it. And it says I was never a spender. So by the time November came around, I found this high ticket sales program, sorry, that was selling for about 2K. I bought it right away. I knew this was like something I was a bit interested in, so I wanted to get into it. Gave this a shot. I bought it, got in mid November, and then I learned like the skill of appointment setting. If you guys don't understand how high ticket sales work, it's essentially finding an influencer who teaches you a skill, whether it be like some sort of way to make money, some sort of way to improve your marriage, some sort of skill that you people find useful today that could benefit them, and they pretty much just tell you how to do that like in a more personalized way on one-on-one community, give you resources, all this type of support that you'll need to be successful with it. So they sell it for a good amount of money. Now the thing is with these influencers who bring in all of these leads, all this traffic from their TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, all their social medias, with a big following, they don't have enough time to go through all these leads, all the people who apply to work with them. They don't have time to go through all that because they're making the content. So people like me go and filter out all these leads, see which ones have money, see which ones need help, and then we set them up for appointments to close the deal so we can talk to them, find out about their situation, and if there's like any objections, anything that they need help overcoming, that's what like we would do on these next calls, close the deals, collect the money, and then everyone would make a percentage of it. We would make money, right? So that's what I wanted to get into. So at first I learned how to appointment set in November, which is where you call the leads, figure out if they have money, whatever, move them to a closer so that they can close the deal. You get a percentage of it. That's like the starting base. So I learned to do that in November. All of November, I was pretty much like mid-November, I joined the program, learned it all for about 2 weeks. Then I hopped on my first offer where I was working for an influencer in the month of December. Excuse me. From the month of December to January, I was appointment setting, and I quickly became the highest earning appointment setter in that time being. So I got promoted to closer in February. From there, I want to say I collected like $50,000 in January, give or take. January and December, sorry. So it wasn't crazy amount of money, but it was the highest earning appointment setter that I was on the team. So I got promoted to closing, and I knew I wanted to take this serious. Like I knew closing was where a bit more of like the money that I wanted to be making came into play. So what I did was I knew I wanted more advanced training rather than the program I had already joined. So what I did was I looked all around on social media, was trying to find the right help, whatever it may be, and I found this guy that I really looked up to. He was like a really good closer, gave a lot of good tips or whatnot. So I reached out to him, sent him a DM. It's like, hey bro, I was wondering if like you have a mentorship, any sort of thing that like I can get taught on in terms of how to close well, whatever. We ended up hopping on a call, everything looked good, and I ended up paying 2K to learn from this guy personally. One of the best investments that I made. He helped me out a lot. Um, so yeah, from there I kind of my closing kind of took off a bit. It was started in more of March was where things started to pick up. I was making some pretty decent money, but not until like June would I say was I making a bit more money that I was a bit more satisfied with. Obviously, I'm not where I want to be at all in life, but I was definitely a bit more satisfied with the money I started making only 2 months ago. And that's simply because I feel like this whole time I was working, I didn't really have no sense of urgency to make this happen. Like I I knew I was like I still told my parents I was fine with going to college. I still listened to them. I still respected what they said. But I remember I went to orientation in June for the college that I was going to, and I was like, I don't want to do this. Like I didn't want to sit in a classroom. I didn't want to get told what to do. I didn't want to go to school 5 days a week after I already graduated high school. I was going to school 5 days a week. Like I didn't want to do four more years of school after I already did 4 years of school. So I told my parents pretty much like I wanted to go all in on this, like really focus on it, even though they knew I was kind of a bit focused on it before, but like really prove to them that I can do this if they gave me a year to like give them my best shot. So I remember I told them that in June. They thankfully, honestly, respected my decision in terms of like wanting to stay home, give this a shot, promote their trust in me. The next day, I remember after June, was like my biggest day in business. It was like, it's kind of crazy. Like I made like $750 in one day from just closing. Like I put my head down. I knew I had to make this work. I got an opportunity to be a close on a good offer, manage a good offer. We collected like $50,000 in like the first week that I was managing this team, and then I closed like 30,000 in the first week. So whatever the math may be on that, I just remember one day I hit $750, and that was like wow. Like it didn't even feel real. Like I wasn't really phased by it, but it's like I knew as soon as like I had that urgency to make this work because I know that I'm not going to college now, so I have no choice but to make this work. That's what really gave me the desire to want to push for more. So that kind of brings me to where I am today, June and July, having pretty good months, having my best months I've ever had, and only trying to push from here. Now, the reason I come on here is just because I want to tell you guys a bit about my story and see, like, show you guys that, like, not everyone has the urgency that I feel like they really need to be successful. Not everyone understands like, oh, if this doesn't work, I'm working on a job. Not everyone understands like, oh, if this doesn't work how I want to, I might be in the spot that I don't want to be in. That sort of urgency is what pushes people to push for more, and I feel like that's just a good thing to have. So I kind of want to come here and talk about my story as soon as that. If you guys have any questions or would like to learn more in terms of like how I've managed these teams, how I've got to where I am, more specifically closing, how I performed as a top setter, leave a comment below and I'd love to get back to you guys. But yeah, other than that, thank you guys for watching the video. I'll be documenting a lot of my process on here, showing you guys kind of a bit about my life from here. So yeah, thank you guys for watching.